Good morning, guys. Okay, so we've had 2 days of level 1 substitution. So today we're going to move on to level 2. And this one has a few more steps added to it. And so what I've done is here is another how-to, except for I've got this one written out for you with the example beside it. And I did kind of a bad job of labeling the steps here, but I can fix that for you on here. All right, so when I say level 2, what that means is we have two variable equations. So right here, we have y equals 4x plus 2. We have y equals negative 8x minus 6. So before, we had one two variable equation and one variable equation. And so now we've got it with two variables. So step 1 says substitute by setting the two equations equal. So we still know what y equals because y equals 4x plus 2. So I can take that 4x right there, and I can plug it into the equation right here where y is at. So that gives me 4x plus 2 equals negative 8x minus 6. Okay, so that was step 1. Step 2 says to begin isolating the variable by getting the variables on the same side of the equal sign using inverse operations. So, excuse me, right now, I have an x on the left of the equal sign and I have an x on the right. So I need those on the same side of the equal sign. And just like everything, anytime we move it from one side of the equal sign to the other, we have to use inverse operations or the opposite operation. So it doesn't matter which variable you choose to move. You could subtract 4x from both sides or you could add 8x to both sides. I tend to try to move the one that is negative because it gets rid of it. And so on this one, you can see I added 8x to both sides. So when you do that, over here, you combine like terms, 4x plus 8x, well, that's 12x plus 2. Notice that I brought that 2 down, equals negative 6. Okay, and then you just have a one or two-step equation there. So two-step equation, the first step of that says we add or subtract the number that's by itself, that's on the same side of the equal sign as the variable. Okay, well, if we look, here's my variable. The number by itself is this 2 right here. It's being added, so I want to subtract it from both sides. So that gives me 12x equals negative 8. Step 4 says divide the number being multiplied by x. So the number being multiplied by x is this 12 right here. So I'm going to divide both sides by 12. That leaves me with a 1 or 1x. So that just is x equals, and then negative 8 over 12 is negative 2 over 3. Please leave your answer as a fraction. Decimals get kind of complicated and hard to work with, especially like this one here is a repeating decimal. It's going to be negative 0.6 repeating. Okay, so leave it as a fraction. If you are using a Google calculator and you can't do that, just look up a fraction calculator if you need to. I am hoping to get a calculator out to you guys that is very beneficial, and I'm hoping it'll help. All right, step 5 says, okay, so we now know what x equals. You can see that right there. We know that x equals negative 2/3. So step 5 says we're going to substitute that known value into either of the equations for x, and we're going to solve it. All right, so since we know our x value here, we're going to come in. We're going to choose either one of these. It doesn't matter. And you can see I chose this equation right here. Once again, I didn't want to have to deal with the negatives. So you come down here, and you're just subbing that in for x, just like we did yesterday and the day before. So we have y equals 4 times negative 2/3 plus 2. Okay. Now I just put substitute and solve. You guys know these steps by now. The next step would be to multiply these. Once you've multiplied that, then you're going to add those two together. And once you add those together, you now have y. And then the final step says we're going to use the values of x and y to create the ordered pair. So we have x, we have y, so now we have our ordered pair. Okay, so we're going to look at a few of these together. All right, so we have x equals 3y plus 4 and x equals 7y minus 8. So I know you guys haven't seen an equation like this before, and that's because This is not slope-intercept form. This is just an equation. It doesn't have a specific name or anything. So again, what we're going to do, we know what x equals, so we're going to do step 1, which says we're going to set these equations equal to each other. So we have 3y plus 4 equals 7y minus 8. Okay, now, if you will, just get a sheet of paper out. You do not have to write this down on the slide or anything, especially the practice problems. The only ones I need to see your work for, really, are the 5 practice problems at the back. All right, so step 2 says we're going to begin isolating the variable. We're going to get y by itself. And we're going to do that by getting the variables on the same side of the equal sign. Okay, so again, I can either move 3y or I can move 7y. It's my choice. I don't like negatives, so I'm going to subtract 3y from both sides, because if I subtract 7y, I'm going to get a negative 4. So 3 is positive. The inverse of that would be to make it negative or to subtract it. So minus 3y. Okay, so those cancel. So over on this side, I'm left with 4 equals 7 minus 3, so that's 4y minus 8. Okay, step 3 says I'm going to find the number that is isolated by itself, but is on the same side as the variable. So that's going to be this 8 right here. It's being subtracted. So I'm going to add it to both sides. Four plus 8, well, that's 12, equals, those cancel, leaving me with just 4y. Okay, my next step says to divide by the number being multiplied by y. Those cancel, leaving me with y equals 12 divided by 4 is 3. So there's step 1, or first half of the equation. Okay, the next half says I'm going to take my known y value and I'm going to plug it into either of these equations and solve. So I'm going to plug it into the first one. So I have x equals 3y. So instead of putting y, remember, I'm going to replace it with the 3. So 3 times 3 plus 4. And then to solve it. So at this point, you can plug that whole thing into your calculator, 3 times 3 plus 4. You can do it all in your head, or you can work it out step by step. So 3 times 3 would be 9 plus 4. And then 9 plus 4 is 13. So x is 13, which gives me the answer. X is 13, comma, y is 3. So here is my final answer. That is the solution to my system of equations. All right. If I move ahead before you, feel free to pause this video. So if we look at this next one, okay, we have y equals. So let's do a different color this time. Again, we're going to set them equal to each other. So we have 7x minus 9 equals negative 5x plus 15. Okay. Step 2 says we're going to move the variable. Again, I don't like messing with negatives, so I'm going to add 5x to both sides. That gets rid of the negatives completely. So that cancels, leaving me with 12x is equal to, oops, look at me, 12x minus 9 is equal to 15. Okay, the next step says to either add or subtract the number by itself. So that here's the 9. It's being subtracted, so we're going to add it. So plus 9, plus 9. Those cancel, leaving us with 12x is equal to 15 and 9, that's 24. Okay, we're next going to divide by 12. Divide by 12. X is equal to 2. Okay, and then plug it in. So y equals 7x, so 7 times 2 minus 9. That's y equals 14 minus 9, which is y is equal to 5. So we have our ordered pair. My x is 2, y is 5. So my solution to the system of equations would be 2, 5. Okay, and here we have a fraction. So we have, again, we're going to set them equal to each other. 7 over 3x minus 12 is equal to 4 over 3x plus 7. Okay, so fractions, guys, we're going to do those the same way. That is a 3, I promise. All right, so we're going to move one to either side of the equation. So I'm going to choose minus 4 over 3. Again, I don't want to mess with negatives, and if I subtract 7 over 3, I'm going to get a negative number. All right, so these two cancel. So over here I'm left with 7 is equal to 7 minus 4, because numerator minus numerator, that gives me 3. And then the denominator stays the same, so 3 over 3x minus 12. Okay, that simplifies even further because 3 divided by 3 is just 1, leaving us with x minus 12 is equal to 7. Okay, so we're going to find the number that's isolated by itself. So we're going to add 12 to both sides. Leaving us with x is equal to 19. And see here, there's nothing to divide because x is already by itself. All right, so next step says we're going to plug it in. So we have y is equal to, and choose either equation. Let's do 4 over 3 times 19 plus 7, sorry. Okay, so 4 over 3 times 19. Remember, you're going to take the whole number, multiply it by the numerator, sorry. 19 times 4, that is 76. And then you're going to keep the denominator. So y equals 76 over 3 plus 7. Okay, then you're going to add those two together. So to do that, y is equal to, we're going to keep the 36 over 3. I'm going to turn my whole number there into a fraction. So I need a denominator of 3. That means I'm going to multiply 7 times 3, which gives me 21, over, and then we multiplied by 3, so my denominator is 3. So, sorry guys, I'm going to have to come over here to finish that. 36 plus 21, that's 57. divided by, and then our denominator stays the same. So y is equal to 57 over 3. Okay, remember to check and see if that simplifies or not, but this one does not. So our x was 19. Y was 57 over 3. Oops, and don't forget to close that parenthesis. So there's your final answer, your solution to that system. Okay. All right, last one that we're going to do together. And I'm going to let you try. There's 5 to try on your own. Okay, let's do a new color. All right, so we have set them equal. 8y minus 15 equals negative 12y plus 25. Okay, substitute. Step 2 says move the variable. So again, that's negative. Let's move that one. We want no negatives if at all possible. So we're going to add 12y to both sides. So 8 plus 12, we get 20y minus 15 is equal to, those cancel, leaving me with 25y, or no, sorry, just 25, no y. Okay, find the number by itself. We're gonna use inverse operation. So it's subtracted. We're gonna add it to both sides, leaving us with 20y equals 25 plus 15, that's 40. So divide by 20, divide by 20. We have y is equal to 40 divided by 20 is 2. Okay, so plug it in. X is equal to 8 times y. So 8 times 2 minus 15. Okay, 8 times 2 is 16. 16 minus 15, that's equal to just 1. So then we have x is equal to 1, y is equal to 2. All right, so you have 5 problems to try on your own. So there's the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. If you are at home doing this, please make sure that you either write on here, you just grab the pen tool and start writing. Make sure whatever your answer is, put it in a box so that I know exactly where to look for your answer, and then I can go find your work as needed. Or just upload a picture. Okay, just remember to upload a picture. All you do is click this picture tool, camera, and it's going to pull up your camera. And then you just take the picture and it'll insert it for you. So either insert your work or write it on here. No work equals no points. So don't just give me an ordered pair. I have to see your work. If you can't figure out how to add it here, email it to me. Okay, guys, y'all have a great day.